Lara Rajagopalan, known professionally as Lara Raj, was born on November 3, 2005, in the United States to Tamil parents of South Indian and Sri Lankan descent. And from her earliest years she was surrounded by a blend of Western modernity and deep-rooted South Asian culture that shaped her identity as both an artist and an individual. Growing up in a household where Tamil traditions and the rhythm of American life coexisted, Lara was inspired by her grandmother, who once gave her a KATSEYE crystal, a gift that would later become symbolic of her destiny when she joined a group named KATSEYE. She spent much of her childhood in Dallas, Texas, and from a very young age showed a fascination with singing, dancing, and acting, often performing alongside her older sister Ria, who shared her musical passion. The two would record covers of classic R&B and pop hits and upload them online, gaining small but meaningful attention that hinted at Lara's innate stage charisma. Her early education included stints at performing arts schools where she learned the technical and emotional foundations of performance: vocal control, choreography, improvisation, and stage presence. By 13, her confidence and grace had already caught public attention when she appeared in an advertisement for the Obama Foundation's Global Girls Alliance alongside Michelle Obama, marking her first major public appearance and signaling her potential to inspire other young women of color. Ambitious and self-aware, she once described herself as a triple threat, someone who could sing, dance, and act, and she dedicated her teenage years to refining those skills, moving between Texas and New York to pursue opportunities that could bridge her American upbringing with her cultural identity. In 2023, fate aligned when HYBE Corporation and Geffen Records announced a global talent project called the Debut Dream Academy, a rigorous survival program aimed at forming an international girl group. Out of thousands of hopefuls, Lara's authenticity, versatility, and raw vocal tone made her stand out. During the months of elimination rounds, she proved herself not just as a performer but as a personality, graceful, articulate, and unwavering under pressure, earning immunity in multiple missions and winning over global fans. When she was officially announced as one of the 6 members of the newly formed group KATSEYE, the symbolism wasn't lost on her or her family. The name mirrored the KATSEYE crystal her grandmother had given her years before, almost as if her journey had come full circle. KATSEYE debuted in 2024 with explosive energy, their multicultural composition, featuring members from the US, Korea, the Philippines, and Europe, offering a refreshing break from traditional pop templates. Their debut single and later EP, Soft is Strong, captured global attention, blending vulnerability and strength both musically and visually. For Lara, this debut was more than a professional breakthrough. It was a cultural statement. With her distinctive style of incorporating Indian elements such as bindis, nose rings, and OM pendants into her on-stage looks, she celebrated her roots unapologetically, giving representation to South Asian youth worldwide who rarely saw someone like them in global pop culture. Media outlets soon took notice of her individuality. Fashion magazines described her as a voice of brown girl confidence, while fans praised her for merging modern streetwear with ethnic elegance. In 2025, KATSEYE's rise hit a new peak when the group won a major award at the MTV Video Music Awards for their single Touch. During the acceptance speech, Lara's heartfelt words in Tamil alongside her bandmate Sophia's in Filipino moved audiences and made headlines for their authenticity and cultural pride. That same year, she appeared in a Gap campaign celebrating diversity and queer identity, standing as one of the few Indian American pop idols to represent both ethnic and LGBTQ+ communities on such a grand stage. In March 2025, she came out publicly as queer during a fan interaction on Weverse, humorously calling herself half a fruitcake, while revealing that she had known since age 8 that she was different. Her openness broke barriers and inspired countless fans, especially within conservative and underrepresented communities, to embrace their identities without fear. Lara later shared how she once feared being open about her sexuality could have jeopardized her chances in the competitive idol industry. But the overwhelming fan support convinced her that honesty was her true strength. Despite her growing fame, she remained grounded, often speaking about how she wanted brown girls to feel sexy, powerful, visible, and proud. Critics and audiences alike acknowledged the pressure she faced, balancing expectations as a performer, a queer artist, and a cultural representative, but Lara's poise and empathy turned those pressures into purpose. She became a vocal advocate for authenticity and mental wellness in the entertainment industry, urging young artists not to lose their individuality in pursuit of perfection. Off-stage, Lara's personality radiates warmth and introspection. She often posts about meditation, gratitude, and honoring her heritage, crediting her late grandmother as her spiritual guide. Her artistic influences span from Beyoncé and A.R. Rahman to traditional Carnatic music, and she dreams of one day fusing those worlds into her own sound. As she continues her journey with KATSEYE, now a global powerhouse, she stands as a symbol of cultural convergence, proof that talent, authenticity, and courage can defy stereotypes. At just 19, Lara Raj has already transformed from a Tamil American girl with a dream into a global pop icon whose story resonates with millions. Her rise embodies not just success but representation, a reclamation of visibility for South Asians, queer youth, and every dreamer who's been told they don't fit the mold. With her soulful voice, bold fashion, and fierce individuality, Lara Raj doesn't just perform on stage. She tells a story of identity, resilience, and the power of believing that your roots can be your wings. As Lara Raj's stardom continued to rise after KATSEYE's explosive debut, her journey began to evolve beyond the stage. It became a symbol of transformation and courage for a generation that saw themselves reflected in her confidence and authenticity. With every performance, interview, and public appearance, she carried the duality of her identity. An American-born global pop idol proudly embracing her Tamil heritage, her brown skin, and her queerness in an industry often dominated by convention and sameness. By mid-2025, her artistry had matured noticeably. Her vocals grew deeper, her choreography sharper, and her lyrics increasingly introspective. She began writing snippets of songs during late-night studio sessions, often drawing inspiration from her childhood memories. Her grandmother's chants, the scent of jasmine her mother would braid into her hair, the hum of Carnatic ragas playing softly in the background of family gatherings. These fragments of nostalgia became the emotional undercurrent of her creative process. Lara often spoke in interviews about how she didn't want to be just another pop idol. She wanted her art to feel like a home for people who never felt they belonged. As the global media spotlight intensified, Lara's individuality continued to distinguish her from her peers. She started experimenting with a fusion of Indian traditional dance movements and Western pop choreography, blending the grace of Bharatanatyam hand gestures with the fierce energy of hip-hop and contemporary performance. This hybrid style became her signature, an embodiment of dual identity expressed through rhythm and motion. Her stage performances, often marked by intense emotion and poetic symbolism, began receiving critical acclaim for their originality and depth. Major fashion houses like Dior and Alexander McQueen soon noticed her fearless style and invited her to front campaigns and attend fashion weeks. She attended her first Paris Fashion Week in 2025 wearing a sari-inspired gown fused with modern tailoring, instantly making headlines for redefining what a global pop star could look like. At every red carpet, Lara stood out, not just because of her beauty, but because of her authenticity. She often said in interviews that her fashion choices were extensions of her identity, not costumes designed for attention. "When I wear a bindi on stage," she once said, "it's not decoration, it's a story. It's my grandmother, it's my mother, it's me." KATSEYE's growing fame brought relentless schedules, world tours, interviews, endorsements, but Lara balanced the chaos with grounded rituals. She practiced meditation, carried the same KATSEYE crystal her grandmother gave her wherever she went, and often lit incense before performing as a quiet moment of gratitude. Her relationship with her fellow members grew stronger, and fans noticed how the girls often described her as the emotional glue of the group, the one who comforted others during long rehearsals or late-night tears. Despite the fame, Lara made it a point to stay connected to her fans, frequently writing heartfelt messages on social media about self-love, burnout, and cultural pride. She became a mentor figure to many, not just as an idol but as a human being navigating fame while staying true to herself. But the journey wasn't without its hardships. In the latter half of 2025, as KATSEYE's popularity skyrocketed, Lara faced waves of online scrutiny. Some criticized her bold cultural expression, while others questioned whether her open queerness was appropriate for global idol culture. Rather than retreat, she confronted these moments with quiet strength. In one moving live stream, she addressed her fans directly, saying, "Representation is not about perfection, it's about existing. I don't want to be everyone's ideal. I just want to be real." That moment went viral, inspiring thousands of fans who felt unseen in their own lives. She became a symbol of defiance against invisibility, using every criticism as fuel to stand taller. In interviews, she often credited her cultural heritage for that resilience, saying that growing up as a South Asian woman in America had taught her how to exist in two worlds and find her balance. By late 2025, Lara began working on her first solo project under the guidance of producers at HYBE and Geffen. The music, still unreleased, was said to carry strong Indian influences layered over R&B and synthpop elements, a sound that reflected her duality. She was determined to show that global pop could be inclusive of South Asian sounds and stories. During recording breaks, she also collaborated with charity organizations focused on empowering young girls in South Asia through arts and education, something deeply personal to her because she wanted to give other brown girls the opportunities she never had growing up. At the same time, she continued breaking boundaries in queer representation, gracing magazine covers that celebrated her as both a fashion icon and an LGBTQ+ trailblazer. She didn't shy away from topics of gender, love, or identity, believing that vulnerability was a form of power. Her words in a Rolling Stone India interview summed up her philosophy perfectly. "I don't want to fit into pop culture, I want to expand it. I want every girl who looks like me, every person who loves like me, to feel seen when I'm on stage." That statement resonated globally and became something of a manifesto for her fans. She began trending regularly across platforms like Twitter and TikTok, not just for her performances but for the conversation she sparked about identity and inclusion. Fan art celebrating her as a brown queer pop goddess flooded social media, and she responded by reposting fan creations, often thanking them with emotional captions. As the group prepared for its first world tour, Lara's influence extended into pop culture far beyond music. She collaborated with fashion brands to launch limited edition collections that blended Indian textile patterns with streetwear silhouettes, celebrating diversity in fashion. She was also invited to speak at youth leadership and pride events, where she used her platform to advocate for mental health, diversity in entertainment, and artistic freedom. What made Lara Raj's story so powerful was not just her success, but how she carried her success, with grace, humor, and vulnerability. She never shied away from admitting that fame could be isolating, once revealing that there were nights she cried from exhaustion and self-doubt, only to get up the next morning, put on her stage outfit, and remind herself why she started. Every time she performed, she looked up at the stage lights and whispered a quiet prayer to her grandmother, the woman who believed in her before anyone else did. It became her ritual, her silent thank you to the universe. From a Tamil American girl with dreams of performing, to a global idol representing multiple communities, Lara Raj's journey became a living testimony to the idea that identity isn't something to hide, it's something to celebrate. And as her career moved forward, she continued to redefine what it means to be a pop idol. Not just a performer with perfect choreography, but a storyteller carrying the voices of the unseen. Her name, Lara Raj, came to symbolize light, courage, and the power of authenticity in a world that often asks artists to be everything but themselves. She had not just become famous, she had become a movement, a mirror for every young dreamer who dared to believe that their differences could one day make them shine. As 2026 approached, Lara Raj's impact on the global entertainment landscape grew even more undeniable, transforming her from just an idol into a cultural phenomenon whose influence stretched across music, fashion, activism, and identity. With KATSEYE's world tour preparations underway, Lara threw herself into long rehearsals, 10-hour dance practices, late-night vocal training, and constant creative meetings. Yet she approached every moment with an intensity that came from knowing she was living the dream she once whispered to herself as a child. Each rehearsal room became a world of its own. Mirrors fogged from the heat, music booming from the speakers, members laughing between takes, and Lara in the center, pushing herself until her body shook and sweat drenched her clothes, refusing to settle for anything less than excellence. Her members often said that when Lara danced, It felt like she wasn't performing choreography. She was telling a story, breathing life into every movement, carrying her heritage and emotions into each step. As anticipation for KATSEYE's world tour grew, Lara's presence in media expanded further. Major brands began approaching her not merely as an ambassador but as a muse, someone who could redefine what global beauty looked like. Vogue invited her for a cover shoot themed around the future of pop, where she appeared draped in a hybrid outfit blending traditional silk textiles with futuristic metallic elements. The cover instantly went viral. Fans praised how she embraced her brown skin tone with pride, how she wore her bindi unapologetically alongside high-fashion couture, and how she presented herself not as an exotic symbol but as a confident global icon in her own right. Fashion critics wrote about her unshakable authenticity, noting how she didn't simply wear clothing, she embodied the stories behind them. During the tour's promotional interviews, Lara spoke openly about her artistic dreams, hinting at her desire to infuse more Indian musical elements into KATSEYE's future projects. She shared how she wanted to one day perform a song on stage featuring classical Indian instrumentation blended with modern pop production, creating a soundscape that showcased the richness of her heritage. She spoke too about the responsibility she felt toward South Asian fans, saying, "When I look into the crowd and see brown girls screaming my name, it hits me. I'm standing in a place they were told they didn't belong. And if I can stand here, maybe they'll believe they can too." That sincerity made her a beloved figure not just among fans but also among cultural commentators, who celebrated her as a pioneering face of South Asian representation in global pop. Yet as her fame soared, the challenges intensified. There were days when the pressure felt suffocating. Comments dissecting her body, her skin tone, her sexuality, her cultural expression. She occasionally faced conservative backlash from certain communities unhappy with her openness about being queer or her bold fashion choices. Instead of retreating, Lara used these moments as catalysts for deeper self-reflection. She started journaling daily, writing pages about the contradictions of fame, the expectations placed on idols, and the quiet longing for normalcy. On tough nights, she would sit by hotel windows in foreign cities, staring at the skyline while holding her grandmother's KATSEYE crystal, reminding herself that she wasn't alone, that her lineage, her people, and her younger self were watching proudly. Her relationship with her fans, known affectionately as stargazers, strengthened throughout this period. Lara treated her fans like an extension of her family, often writing heartfelt letters to them before each major event. She shared her insecurities, her joys, her gratitude, and her dreams, building a bond based on honesty rather than idle mystique. Fans appreciated how she didn't pretend to be perfect. She shared stories about struggling with body image, feeling isolated while traveling, and experiencing imposter syndrome despite her success. But she always followed those confessions with empowering messages, reminding fans that vulnerability wasn't weakness, it was strength. During the first leg of KATSEYE's tour, Lara delivered some of the most iconic performances of her career. In one show, she surprised fans by incorporating Indian classical ad-libs into the bridge of a song, her voice sliding effortlessly between pop riffs and the emotional depth of ragas. The crowd roared with excitement, many moved to tears, understanding the cultural significance of hearing their heritage represented on a global stage. After the concert, clips of her performance flooded social media, earning millions of views and sparking conversations about how global music was evolving through artists like her. Music critics praised her innovative artistry, calling her a bridge between worlds, and a catalyst for the future of multicultural pop. As the tour continued, Lara began forming creative connections with artists from around the world. She collaborated backstage with African, Asian, and Latin American musicians, soaking in their influences and learning from their histories. These exchanges helped shape her vision for her future solo work. She wanted to create music that didn't just sound global but felt global, rooted in authenticity rather than trend following. Producers who worked with her said she had a rare gift. She could blend genres effortlessly, switching from R&B to Tamil folk rhythms to Western pop within a single session while maintaining her emotional core. Despite her busy schedule, Lara made time for activism, becoming a vocal supporter of LGBTQ+ youth programs, South Asian cultural preservation initiatives, and mental health advocacy. She visited shelters, participated in youth workshops, and donated portions of her earnings to organizations that empowered young queer kids of color. Her activism wasn't performative, it was deeply personal. She often spoke about how difficult it had been growing up queer in a South Asian family, not because her family was unloving, but because cultural silence made it hard to express her identity. By speaking openly, she hoped to break that silence for others. Her emotional honesty also led to powerful moments on tour. In one city, after finishing a particularly moving performance, she took a moment to address the audience. Voice trembling, she said, "I used to hide everything that made me different. Now I stand here because of those very things." The crowd erupted in cheers, and fans later described that moment as life-changing. Clips of the speech went viral, becoming an anthem for self-acceptance. As Lara's journey continued unfolding, she wasn't just becoming more famous, she was becoming more herself. With every stage crossed and every boundary broken, she grew into the kind of artist she once longed to see as a child. Bold, brown, queer, emotional, powerful, and unafraid. Her story, still in its early chapters, continued inspiring millions who saw in her not perfection, but possibility. And as she looked ahead, toward her solo debut, future albums, and new creative ventures, Lara Raj carried with her the same fire she held as a little girl, the belief that her identity was not something to hide, but something to illuminate the world with. And as the years passed, Lara Raj learned that fame was not a destination but a mirror that reflected everything she had once feared and everything she had always dreamed of, and she carried both with grace, becoming a symbol of quiet strength for young girls across India who finally saw themselves in someone standing proudly on a global stage. She performed under blinding lights, traveled through countries she had once only seen in movies, stood before crowds that screamed her name, and yet remained grounded enough to call her mother every night no matter what time zone she was in, whispering the same words she had whispered as a child. "I did well today, right?" And her mother always replied, "You did more than well, you did brave." A sentence Lara carried like a shield, and even in her lowest moments, when exhaustion pulled at her bones or when homesickness made her chest ache, she reminded herself of the girl who once danced barefoot in her room with a dream too big for her tiny hands, a dream she chased even when no one believed in it. And now, every time she stepped on stage with KATSEYE, she felt that little girl inside her smile because she had not only reached the world but touched it, changed it, inspired it. So when the lights dimmed after another sold-out concert and the crowd's roaring softened into a warm echo, Lara closed her eyes, pressed a hand to her heart, and let a single tear fall, not of sadness but of overwhelming gratitude, because she knew she had become exactly what she always hoped to be, a story of perseverance, a voice of hope, and a reminder that even the quietest dreams can rise loud enough to move the world.